He's a karate master who some call the original karate hottie and was brought in to help Team McGregor this episode. Let's welcome in Stevie Wonderboy Thomas to the show.
Hiya, I'm Stevie Wonderboy Thomas, and martial arts is life. I started training in martial arts the very first day I was born. And when I was 2 years old, I started fighting grown men. Then when I was 6 years old, I won my first Kumite tournament. I'm undefeated in over 4,000 kickboxing matches. It got to the point where no one wanted to fight me. Everyone was afraid. But now, I'm a UFC fighter, and I'm so lucky to train with Conor McGregor on TUF 31. Best of luck to all the competitors this season, and remember, martial arts is life. Us.
Come on, man. God, come on, dog. Come on, man. You know you my dog, but I had to get you.
That was perfect. I mean, you had me down. I mean, the hair and everything. You had the hair and everything.
Hey, it wasn't easy to comb that hair like that. I tell you, I don't know how you do it on a daily basis, but that wasn't easy.
Oh my gosh, I love it, man. 4,000 fights. Dude, that was great.
I know, I'm sorry for selling you short like that.
No, it's all good. It's all good, man. You were right on the button, bro. Right on it.
Well, let's talk about this episode. So you have a relationship with Conor. What was that like prior to coming on to the show, and what's it like now?
Oh man, it was awesome, man. I mean, just to be able for him to invite me out to be a part of the show, to be a coach, and help these up and coming fighters kind of do their thing, and hopefully, able to teach these guys, because they're in full fighting mode. They're in their grit, they're training, and for these guys to come in with an empty cup and to learn from myself and Conor and these guys, it was awesome, man. And even watching watching these guys fight, watching some of these guys win, watching some of them lose. They're hungry, so you haven't seen the last of these guys yet.
Yes, Steven, you're there with all those athletes. For myself as a coach, sometimes I try to adapt to their style. Do you believe everyone can pick up the karate style? And who picked it up the best? Like, which fighter do you think stood out with that karate style?
Oh, man, there's a few guys out in there that have come up with a karate background, but they all picked it up fairly well, especially when it comes to the movement. Now, the style is a little different, and it doesn't work for everybody, but what I ask these guys to do is, if there's anything that they learn from me today, they can throw it away, something that they can use in their arsenal. I don't care how big or small it was. I just wanted them to adapt and try something new. And that's something, especially when these up-and-coming guys are, I guess, kind of afraid of, is to think outside the box a little bit, right? To try something new and take that and roll with it. So basically, my goal was out there to help these guys with their movement, their angle changing, their timing, which makes all the difference out there in a fight.
Conor says he brought you on to maybe give a little spark to the guys. When you got there, what was the morale like on his team?
Oh, man. So some of the guys just had fought the week, or actually the day before. And some of the guys, I think they had lost. So the morale was fairly low. And I do something every time I step on a mat, or anywhere that I'm at, to be honest with you. Sometimes you guys have been there. There are days where we don't want to go to the gym. We don't want to train. And that can rub off on people, right? Just your attitude, your mindset. They see you coming in, head down, and acting tired, looking tired. But what I do, and I can see it change in everybody's mindset, I always come in with a smile on my face, man. I don't care how bad I'm feeling. I don't care how, my honey broke up with me. Me and Pops had a bad argument the day before. I always come with a smile on my face, and it's crazy how that changes everybody's mindset and morale. So that's what I did. I came in there, I smiled, I put a smile on my face, and everybody was ready to rock and roll.
Steven, you're a wonderful coach. I mean, right now you said you're taking a break between classes to do this interview. You coach all the time. Would you like to coach the Ultimate Fighter? And if you were to coach the Ultimate Fighter, who would you coach against? And who would you be fighting for that NMF title?
Oh, these are great questions, actually. If I was going to do the show, first off, I would love to do the TUF show. And if I'm going to do it against anybody, it's got to be the champ. It's got to be Leon Edwards, my man. I mean, he's the champ. I mean, that's who I have to do it against if I was going to do the Ultimate Fighter. But and wait, what was the second question again? Go for it.
Well, I would just say it's for the NMF top, the nicest, that's what I was trying to say. Who's that guy?
He don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, what?
You're even afraid to say it in front of me.
Yeah.
Dude, all right. So there's a few guys out there. Number one, it was Vicente Luque, right? Mm-hmm. We were like, when we fought each other, the winner of that was going to take the NMF home. So obviously Vicente Luque. Let's see. You have Moreno. Moreno. I think he's an NMF. God, there's so many nice guys out there. My last opponent, which was crazy, and he didn't seem like it, but he's the sweetest guy ever. Kevin Holland is actually a nice guy, even though every time I see on social media, he's getting ready to fight somebody. But Kevin is actually a nice guy as well. There's a lot of them out there, man. I wish I had a belt for everybody, but man, what people don't see is how everybody is outside of the cage, right? You see this tough, you see these fighters out there gritting and going through the grind when they're fighting, but outside of it, man, we're like big teddy bears, man. We're nice people.
Well, I think you're being a little generous to some guys because not everybody is nice. But I will say this, and I don't know if you know this, but you were recently voted the nicest UFC fighter of all time by your peers. Check this out.
You're not going to meet a nicer guy than Stephen Thompson, who, again, let the fighting do the talking. Look at all those knockouts. You forget what a badass he is.
My number one is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. 2 years ago, Stephen Thompson and I were training. He dropped me with a body shot. To this day, he still apologizes for that body shot. So, like Laura spoke about, he spends his free time driving around kids on short buses back and forth from school to his program. And he really spends a lot of his time also giving back to the youth and wanting to instill mixed martial arts in general into today's children. Stephen Thompson is the real deal nice guy.
So if you don't know who that was Laura Sanko and Anthony Smith just talking about how nice of a guy. Well, you know because you dropped him with that body shot. But I know you was like, I'm sure you dropped a lot of people with body shots.
I do, man. You know what? It's funny. It is weird, I guess, that, even though this is the fight game, even though I'm out there to do damage to my opponent, I get a good feeling out of it, but I also, my goal is not to go out there and really injure somebody, right? I think there's ways to beat people, but doing it in a nice manner. And at the end of the day, at the end of my career, I wanted to not just be known as an amazing martial artist or one of the best in the world, but all around nice guy, man, a good person. Hopefully that, I can pass that on to the next generation as well.
Well, I tell you what, my man, I was talking to Gil earlier, and I said, man, he's so nice, it almost seems fake, but it's as genuine as it can get, and the people love you for it, and we appreciate you for it, and you are a true gentleman. We appreciate what you've done for the sport and all that you continue to do. So go pick up them kids, man. Go back to your karate class, and we'll talk to you soon, my man. Thank you again for the time.
Thanks for having me, guys. Y'all take care.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.